Welcome back, folks, to the WP-Tonic This Week in WordPress and SaaS. This is episode 884. We've got a really great guest. I've been looking forward to this conversation. We've got Fernando Angulo, Senior Marketing Research Manager at SEMRUSH. I've probably butchered Fernando's surname, but Tribe, you're used to that. My ability to destroy my guest names is legendary. But he doesn't seem too upset. He seems like I've done a reasonable job. You should be thankful for that if I do a reasonable job.
Well.
Yes. It's become a joke in the show, actually, my inability to pronounce even my own name. So don't get upset. So would you like to give us a quick 30 seconds intro, Fernando?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, I'm Fernando Angulo. I've been working in the digital marketing environment, and digital industry for the last 15 years. The last 11 years, I've been part of the SEMRUSH world. Actually, I was one of the first marketers in the company. When we were about 20 people, I was the marketer number 1 or 2, something like that. Right now, we are more than 1,500 people. We have 9. We have offices in 9 countries, 13 offices in 9 countries. Our HQs are in Boston. I've been in SEO conference. I've been doing SEO for the last 10 years. I've been penalized several times. I've been doing referral marketing as well. And well, right now I'm more into that data analytics. I work for a unit inside SEMRUSH that is called Trends. We are working basically with traffic sources. We try to analyze what is happening inside of direct traffic, organic traffic, paid advertising, social, and of course referral traffic as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. It should be a feast. We're going to be talking about AI, mobile, a load of stuff that will affect your websites or your client websites. It should be a fantastic discussion. Plus, I've got my great co-host, Kurt. Kurt, would you like to do a quick intro to the new listeners and viewers?
Sure thing, Jonathan. My name is Kurt Von Annen. I own an agency called Mañana No Mas. We focus on membership and learning websites, and I also work directly with WP-Tonic and Lifter LMS.
That's fantastic. Before we go into the meat and potatoes of the show, I've got a couple of messages from our major sponsors. We will be back in a few moments, folks. Coming back, folks, I just want to point out we've got some great special deals from the major sponsors, plus a curated list of the best WordPress plugins which you can use for your client website build outs, save you a ton of time scrolling the internet or talking to AI. You can get all these goodies by going over to wp-tonic.com/deals. wp-tonic.com/deals, and you'll find all the goodies there. What more could you ask for? Probably a lot more, but that's all you're going to get from that particular page. So there we go. Right. So let's go straight into it, Fernando. So only a small question, but what are your own thoughts about AI and how Google is seen at the present moment content that is generated by AI? There seem to be a few confusing messages from the big team at Google. That's such a surprise, isn't it? Confusion from Google. But what's your own views about what you think Google sees AI generated content?
Well, something that needs to be really clear from the very beginning is that Google is not your friend. It's not on your side. I mean, well, they're a business. They're running a business, but they're not your friends. In terms of AI, well, they have established a few times that they are not penalizing. They're not willing to penalize any AI generated content. They don't care about the tool itself. The problem is that they need to have some specifics related to the content that you are creating. The tool is not the problem. Obviously, it needs to have quality, the content that you are creating. AI generated content, they lack sometimes, more often, of the quality of the content. And of course, they have a little bit of poor experience when you are creating it. So you need to edit that type of content. The second thing, that the content that you are generating needs to be original, and you need to be knowledge about it. AI generated content is not original per se. It's a replication of already existing content. It can impact SEO negatively because it's something that someone already wrote in the past. The third thing, and this is very important, is the relevance that the content that you're creating needs to have. AI generated content should be carefully reviewed from the very beginning to ensure that aligns with the user intent. You don't need to have content that is really poor in terms of relevance. You need to be talking about specific things related to the user intent. And of course, the last and most important thing is the user experience. AI generated content, well or not, should contribute to a positive user experience, including being well written, easy to read, and engaging. So that's all my thoughts. Google is not your friend, but they have already established some rules of automatic generated content. They don't care about the tool, but they have some rules that you need to be pursuing.
Oh, that's fantastic, because you confirmed some of the way I was leaning, the research I was doing and the so-called gurus in the SEO area. That was my own synopsis to some extent of what the situation. You did a fabulous job. Over to you, Kurt.
Well, as one of these people that gets confused with search engine optimization discussions, I kind of, especially with AI, I just want to extend in that. If you use, let's say someone uses AI to like draft the outline and they make the narration, or they create the narration through ChatGPT or something, but then they add 20%, 30% original content to that. How do you think Google analyzes that AI content then? Do you think it's fully AI in Google's minds, or do you think they recognize that there's real narrative content there?
Well, something interesting that has been happening during the last 3 months. So we have a core update, then we have another update, which is the helpful content update. Then we have another core update. We didn't recover from the previous one, and we need to be checking what is happening right now. So we need to be, patient. And right now it's going to be November. We're going to be for sure having a new spam update, or maybe November or December. So it's something like Google, they are testing us. This is my own opinion, of course. It's a machine learning that is testing how we are going to be reacting with our website, how we're going to be changing our strategy. It's kind of an experiment, a huge experiment that they are constantly doing with us, of course. But the majority of the results that we have, for example, in SEMRUSH, we have the sensor tool. We analyze all the changes that we have in the search, and the majority of the changes that we recognized during the last September, not the October one, because that's a very recent one, but during the September, was related to the changes on the people also ask snippet, and also in the e-commerce snippets in the images. So those changes right now are kind of important, because we are going to be having, of course, the Friday, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but they are not so related to the explanation of, okay, what is happening with the other. So it's a mix of things right now. I believe we need just to be a little bit calm with the changes, because we have, in one hand, the crazy changes that we have with the helpful content, that if you are an SEO, I'm sure that you notice the changes. But we have the core updates on the other side. We don't know yet all the impact that had, because it's a core update, is the whole algorithm, and we have two of them. Well, we just need to be patient about what's going to be with the core update when the helpful content update. They're testing a lot of stuff lately.
Well, thanks for following up, Fernando. And you mentioned in your answer a couple of times the helpful content update, And that's part of that second question that we were prepared for. And that's a lot of niche focused websites. They seem to have been penalized by this helpful content update. And I was wondering if you could give us some insight connected to that kind of update and what that really means.
Yes. Well, this is not the first time that the content update, helpful content update appears. We had one last year. Actually, it was also in October. And there are some major differences, I mean, in different niches. And we have a study, we gathered our research based on, okay, what are the losers and the winners of each niche in this case, and comparing the December, it was from December, the last 2022, the last helpful content update. In comparison with December, this September update, the major changes were made. Well, really, the changes were made in the automobile industry. So, if you are in the automobile sector, you have noticed the changes that you have. Then we have a lot of changes in the pets and animal sector. If you have any kind of niche page there, we also see the changes there. And the last, the most powerful change that we see was in the shopping, e-commerce and retail industry, all the related niches. Those changes were really, really huge. We have several other industries that were impacted, but overall the impact was pretty much the same at the same level. Every niche was affected, and we hear that at some point, well, maybe they're going to be revocating this update, but then Google was saying that we will not be revocating anything. What is done is done. But the thing is that all those changes and all those ranks that you may have lost, they are pushing us to say, okay, now I need to create a different strategy for each website, for each page, because in the search, we have seen several similar pages, several similar results from one single domain. So every single page of your domain are really important. You don't need to think about one single keyword for one page. Well, I hope you were not doing that. You need to be thinking about as an entity, right? You have one page, you have one service or product, your core message, but you need to think about different types of content created to support and interlinking that to support that page. That seems like it's working right now. The volatility has changed a lot for the core update that we had after the helpful content update. That's why we are not sure how websites are recovering yet, because it was pretty recent. But some of the friends we have in the industry, they say that they have made several changes in terms of internal linking, and of course, link building as a strategy overall is working. It has been working the last 15 years. Link building is also something that is supporting that very well.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much, Fernando. Jonathan, over to you.
Yeah, Fernando. I'm just this isn't on our list, Fernando. So, but it just occurred to me I should ask you this question because you mentioned it in your first statement that Google isn't your friend, which I totally agree. So obviously, Google's facing quite a pickle, as we would say in London. The Justice Department is taking them to court. Last week, there was some release of some pre-discovery information around Google that they've been adapting their search results. They've always argued that their search department and their ad department is being totally separate, and they put a wall between those two departments. These revelations have come out that it seems that the Justice Department is going to be a key part of their case, that this isn't the fact at all that Google has been highly manipulating natural search results to help the ad department. First of all, were you surprised by this information that's come public? And secondly, do you think there's any truth to it, or do you think Google's got some problems?
Well, being part of a company that is public, as Google is, so you need to be accomplishing some goals every single year in terms of growth, in terms of revenue. And when you cannot accomplish those goals, well, you need to think about other strategies. And what I was mentioning at the beginning, that Google is not your friend, was immediately directed to that part of the Department of Justice that we are also following. And we've seen some internal documents, because now the situation is really exposed. And we saw these internal messages between the search team and the paid advertising team saying, hey, we need to push more paid advertisement ads to grow this percentage for for the next month. So this department pushing this other department, and we all were thinking that they were not connected, they were not communicating at all, right? But they are acting as a company that they are following their goals. When I was, I follow a lot John Mueller, of course, on X right now, it's X, right? He's always supporting the way that SEOs are trying to elaborate new strategies, and he's a good person, I believe. He's a really good person. But
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think he's a very honest individual. I just don't think he's been. I think this is just my opinion, Fernando. I just think he's been misled enormously as well. I really think when this comes all out in the open, I think a lot of people in Google have been totally misled, very honest people, and they're just not being given the full information. I would imagine it's like a Russian doll. You've got one doll in another, and the closer it's a very small group of individuals that have a really tight control over the real technical core of Google. Do you think I'm on the right path there, or if I become a conspiracy junkie in my old age?
Well, I mean, you're not naive. You are thinking about, well, this person is very honest. His opinion is really honest, because when we had questions about, okay, what is happening with my website, or what is happening with this update, he was there facing all the community. He was there replying, answering with very logical answers, and most of them were really helpful. He's part of the community, I will say. But in terms of that he has been misled, well, the hearings are ongoing. It's not finished yet. The more things are going to be revealed for sure. If that part, we thought that the results were natural, right? You just mentioned those were the organic results, the natural results. But it seems to be they are not so natural after all, right? They're kind of very pushy by the PPC team department in Google. Those documents are right now public, so we can comment on them. I don't have any feelings about this situation overall, because we have been supported by a new business, the whole search industry, that is Google. It could be other company. It could be, I don't know, Bing, for example. Well, at some point it might be. But as Google were handling things, it seemed that they were trying to accomplish some goals in desperate, really short term, and they were, well, they break some of their own rules. That's the thing. They established their own rules and they were breaking it inside. Right now, that thing has been published. Right now, it's for the public opinion to be talking about it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Another quick question that wasn't in the list, and I'll get, and then we'll probably go for our break after this. I was thinking that obviously technology is fascinating, but the dark side of it is there's a lot of spin and puff. Around AI, I think obviously the present there seems to be a lot of confusion between a natural language engine and general AI. I don't think anytime soon that we're going to get, I might be wrong, but that we're going to get really true general AI intelligence. But there seems to be a lot of people confusing a natural engine, and it is amazing what it can do. But we heard all this about voice search about 5 years ago, that it was going to destroy normal search, and then we had I felt that the stuff that was coming out, that AI was just going to destroy kind of people doing searches. They were just going to ask, and to me, it's got a lot of the taste about the hype around voice search. What's your own view about that?
Yeah, so remember the 5 years that you just mentioned, that okay, everything's gonna be you need to build your website thinking about the structure that is feeding the voice search next gen devices that are gonna be appearing. Well, that didn't happen. The voice search devices that we have, the voice assistants that we have right now, they are not so smart, right? We haven't seen any Alexa or Siri using all the power of ChatGPT. Actually, we have seen Bing's Cortana just finished. That project is gone. We don't have any more Cortana. So there's gonna be something new, but nobody's talking about that yet. In terms of device usage, well, we can say that, for example, at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything started in 2021, we saw that the majority of the people who were using mobile devices were actually using voice search. That was a huge percentage in comparison with today's reality. Today's reality, what our numbers are saying, that is there are not many people using voice search in mobile devices, because there are not so many users in the mobile device world. Let me give you some data and some insights on this. In the US, for example, we have a research, and we have actually searching for how many users in percentage. I'm not going to be talking about absolute numbers, because that's lots of information. In percentages, 40% of the US internet users are still using a desktop device. Then only 60% in the US are using mobile devices, which is a huge difference between the rest of the world. For example, in Brazil or in Spain or in Germany, the difference is more close to 75% users of mobile devices, 25% of desktop devices. So that means that, okay, for an overall good experience, you need to be really using the both devices experience. So not only be mobile friendly, but you need to be also really desktop friendly, because the trend line is not going to be going down for the desktop usage. As a forecast, we have seen that it's going to be just there. In the US, it's 40%. 40% of the users are still using desktop devices. And in terms of developing a good experience for voice search results, we also got information about the feature snippets with which are the source. Well, 87, 89% of them are the source for the voice search results that we have, for example, on Google devices. So a really good structure feature snippet. I mean, the table or the paragraph or the list. Those are the ones who are enabling the results for the devices. So if you have a good feature snippet on your website and it's a paragraph with no more than 42 words, that's really good for a voice search result. So thinking about the structure in your content, that might be a good idea, because another thing that is really connected to this are the people also ask results, which are another search feature that is great for basically any kind of industry, that they have the same structure as the feature snippet. So you have a feature snippet, you can have also people also ask results, and you are enabling your voice search results. So having a good format is a good idea.
Yeah, how are we doing for time? This is how I see it. I think there's something fundamentally even more problem with the way this has been laid out, but I'm no expert on this. It's just my opinion, my honest opinion, is these type of, I'm looking for the right word here, adaptation to the normal search pattern. They're great if you understand how to make the right question. If you're got some knowledge around your subject, or you're looking for a bit of particular factual information, it's fine. But a lot of time when we're doing searches, we don't even know how to ask the fundamental questions to get that's why we have to do a bit of searching and looking over websites. Where I see AI being really useful is being a real assistant, where you give it a query through voice or text, and then it gives you a curated list of websites that can answer your question, give you insight, give you more knowledge. I think the way Google, it's all about providing the right data, which is great. But what people are looking for is knowledge and wisdom about something. And you can only get that from experts, and experts are only going to invest in providing information if they get some benefit, and normally that benefit is driving traffic to their particular websites. Am I missing anything, or would you think there's anything to what I've just said? Oh,
I'll jump in there, John.
you see,
yeah. What you just said reminded me so much of that tool, Answer the Public, right? So if you want to write content, you go to answerthepublic.com and you put in a subject or a question, and it gives you feedback of what hundreds or thousands of people are asking about that subject in the moment. And then that seems to help you go out and fine tune that search or get that data or that information for that next article. And I look at that as being one of those really great AI type tools, but it's been around for a long time.
All right. Well, that's right. I think we're going to go for our break. And when we come back, we continue this discussion. I think it's been fab so far. I've enjoyed it. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Lifter LMS, the leading learning management system solution for WordPress. If you or your client are creating any kind of online course, training-based membership website, or any type of e-learning project, Lifter LMS is the most secure, stable, well-supported solution on the market. Go to lifterlms.com and save 20% at checkout with coupon code podcast20. That's podcast20. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Coming back, folks, I just want to point out, if you've got a membership or a Buddy Boss website for a client and you know the frustrations you can have by choosing the wrong host for that membership or Buddy Boss website, it can be a nightmare. Why don't you look at WP-Tonic to be your hosting partner for your membership or Buddy Boss website that you're building out for a client? We specialize in only membership and Buddy Boss websites. Plus, we got a fantastic bounty for you, a gift. I think it's some of the highest affiliate that you can get in the industry. We love you to join us and be part of the tribe. Why don't you go over to wp-tonic.com/partners, wp-tonic.com/partners, and see what we offer. And we'd love you to contact us and for us to host your next client's membership or Buddy Boss website. So over to you, Kurt.
Well, I think I'm going to move on to kind of like, what are the personal recommendations that you have, Fernando, connected to link building, and where do you see people making progress with backlinking or connecting to link building and those kinds of ideas?
Fantastic. That's one of my favorite topics, because at this point, I will say that link building is it's becoming an underestimated strategy, because you need to still wait for the results. At some point, you cannot show the expected results, but at the end of the day, 3-4 months or maybe less, you will have received those results. And the thing is that you need to think first when you are creating your link building strategy. You need to think at the very beginning about the content that you are trying to promote, the content that you are trying to highlight, let's say like this, and creating several different pieces around it. So creating a hub in other places. So guest blogging is still working fine, but the post, of course, needs to be with a high quality. Building relationships is working really well. After the pandemics, having a real person in front of you and interchanging links is still the thing. I will say that. Then social media is working really well. If you have an active presence, you need to be trying to create shareable content. Local SEO is a massive thing when you are part of it. You can have all your local listings. You can have a community engagement there. Then you need to see what is happening with your competitors, and that's the thing where tools like SEMRUSH, for example, are really active to being used in terms of analyzing your backlinks or thinking about which sources of traffic in terms of similar links your competitors that they have. Try to acquire links from those similar sources as well. So those tactics are still very relevant. And some of the huge mistakes that people are doing these days are to be very impatient in terms of results. If you are having a link building strategy, that's an ongoing process. It's not that, okay, we have the links, goodbye. It's an ongoing process that needs to be supervised, need to be monitored. You need to be aware that, okay, if we are creating this strategy, we need to have the follow-up for the next month or for the next year in terms of activity. And one important thing that, you need to have is a natural link profile. So paid links have been there since the beginning, but having this natural link profile with similar websites as yours is a good thing to have. And following the Google guidelines, which are pretty much clear, all the webmaster guidelines that for link building practices and ethical and blah blah blah, they are something that you need to be following. If you can do that, You will have the quality over quantity. You will have the relevance that you need. You will have your domain authority in a good shape. So in this case, tools are very important, but for, let's say, the strategy and an ongoing strategy is the must thing here.
Yeah. One of the things that really struck me in your answer there was when you said, you can't set it and forget it. You have to monitor it. And I've had clients in the past where they've done the set and forget, and then people don't realize other websites shut down, go out of, their links fail, the things that, and if your content is linking to content that doesn't exist, you can get, correct me if I'm wrong, but then you get unlisted or devalued or something happens, right?
Yeah, because you're not linked to anywhere. Actually, you have a broken link.
Yeah. That's super, super important. Jonathan, over to you.
Yeah, what I've observed through other SEO. I'm not an expert in this field at all. I just dabble. But what I've heard is that, a bit like what Fernando said, you need a gradual link building attitude, but really, but getting the wrong links can really hurt you quickly. So I don't know if you would agree with that, Fernando. Getting some really dicey links linking to you can rapidly have a bad effect. Would you agree with that?
Oh yes, and with all these new updates in this, with the spam updates that we'll have, the nurturing non-appropriate links, nurturing your website with links that are not relevant, just having links for just for the number of it, for the mass of the links, it's not something that is going to be good for you. Having 3, 4, 5 good links with really good authoritative sources, that's the thing. But having just, also you can have negative SEO with some toxic links. So we are still gathering information about toxic websites that are appearing. You can be having an attack with toxic links because your business competitor, they want to turn your rankings down. Those things are still happening, and you need to check how toxic the links that you are linked to are. So that's the way. That's the part where tracking your links and tracking your links profile. And in this case, I will use the term your links health is a really good choice by far, because you will see that your rankings are declining, your organic traffic is declining, and you will say, okay, but what is happening? I have everything in order. Then you will do your link building audit, your links audit, and you will see that you have several tons, maybe thousands of toxic links that are pointing to your website from sources that are not relevant at all. Well, you need to be checking that. You need to be manually checking that as well.
Yeah, I think, thanks for that. I think that's something I'm going to have to look at myself. A bit related to the first half of the show, do you think, I'm getting the impression by what's been said on X and on YouTube that Google's September HCU and the one before that, people were saying that comments, allowing comments on your blog posts, encouraging running your own forum, having your own community website, more focused website where people can comment and there's back and forth communication with your audience, that Google is really highlighting these community aspects. Would you agree with that?
Well, this is my personal opinion again. I believe this update targeted SEO first. Of course, most of us are trying to test what type of content are more relevant in different niches, right? But the thing is, when we are talking about comments and the update, we have several websites with, well, we had several websites with hundreds of comments, including comments from bots, including real comments, and that part, well, was something that Google already finished with. I believe was one of them, Panda or Penguin. I cannot remember.
I can't, but they hit it hard. You know, that really became very unpopular after that particular update. So all right. So you finished with something, right? So
yeah,
right. Fair enough. Over to you, Kurt.
Well, Fernando, you've been awesome talking about, content, right? So you have to have good content, good user experience, healthy links. So now the next part of the question is, what are some of the business tools that you could probably recommend to some of our listeners, whether they're new or seasoned with us, that would help them run their business daily? Something you could recommend to the audience to help with SEO, provided that they have good content, good structure, good user experience. If they hit the marks on everything, what are some of the tools they can use to leverage that?
In terms of tools, I have a huge list about the tools that I'm also using. Let me start from the content creation. So overall, having the ideas in really good shape is good, and having those ideas really well organized. Well, you mentioned a tool that it was Answer the Public, right? So we had, that was a fantastic tool. It still is, I believe, but we have a tool that is really helpful in terms of topic discovery, and to create those different clusters of topics, that is called topic research inside of SEMRUSH. Actually, that was one of the tools that I compared with Answer the Public. But I have the other part of that SEMRUSH data has, which was the volume of the keyword, the links that are attracting more and more traffic, and we created this KPI, I will say, or this new parameter that is called, let me check it, trends, or virality, how viral a topic is. Actually, the name is resonation, how a topic resonates more within the industry, right? So topic research is a great tool in terms of selecting the topic that you want to talk and going further with the cluster of different topics. The next tool is the AI writing assistant. So you can create content with AI, but you need to check the parameters of how good is the tone of voice, how good is the SEO structure. So you have the content prepared for receiving, for acquiring featured snippet, and you have not only one keyword there, but you have similar keywords that will make more rich that piece of content. One of the other tools that we use a lot, we used in the past, is Trello, to just having everything organized. If you are a big company, of course, use Monday. We're using Monday to track the process of every strategy and every task, and to follow up all these tasks, and to be communicated with the rest of the teams. Of course, we're using Slack. I believe most of the companies are using Slack for internal communication, but to check what is happening, for example, with your content team, if they need some help about some idea, we have this tool that is called Content Shake AI. So you can have the expertise, which is something that Google is looking for, and they have to create unique pieces of content. So with Content Shake, with AI writing assistant, all the power of AI can be used as a tool, but you need to have that internal insight that say, this is something good for my user, and this something that I want to deliver. So the ultimate tool is common sense.
Wow. This sounds like they could use a really good e-learning package from WP-Tonic to organize it.
True.
Do you
All right.
want to, you ask the next question because I took up a bit of time at the beginning. Go on.
Man, Jonathan's going to give it to me 2 interviews in a row. I get to ask if are you familiar with Doctor Who and the Time Machine, Fernando?
Oh yes.
Perfect. So let's pretend you have your own TARDIS. You're going to go back in time. If you went back in time to the beginning of your career, what advice would you give yourself to move forward?
Yeah, at the beginning of my career, 11 years ago, in terms of more variability, I will say invest in um, invest more in paid advertisements. Well, why I will say that? Because I was working a lot with SEO, but as we have seen, paid advertising is also a great strategy and gives you a lot of results. You don't need to wait for that. But I will say that mix the strategies, go with SEO, but invest more on paid advertising.
Nice. I wasn't expecting that answer, Jonathan. How about you?
No, I totally agree with I think but obviously it depends if you've got the budget, doesn't it? But I think having a diverse funnel of qualified prospects is always the best way to go. But so I totally understand your reply and I agree with it. Right, I think we're coming at the end, Fernando. What's the best way for people to find out? I've enjoyed the interview. Hopefully you have.
I enjoyed it a
I
lot.
think we've covered some interesting stuff. I waffled on a bit. You dealt with my waffling very efficiently. So what's the best? But the audience is used to my waffling. So what's the best way for people to find out more about you and what you're up to?
Yeah, I'm more active on LinkedIn, so you can find me as Fernando Angulo on LinkedIn, and you will can follow me or contact me directly, and well, we can be in touch.
Yeah, all the links will be in the show notes, folks, plus the links to the products that Fernando has recommended. You'll find that all in the show notes. They will be up in the middle of next week, so you find it all there. So, Kurt, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and what you're up to?
If folks are already going to LinkedIn to find Fernando, that's the best place to find me. I'm on LinkedIn almost every day, and I'm the only Kurt Von Onen there, so it makes it easy to know you got the right guy. And then my agency name is Mañana No Más, and I would just love to see you over there as well.
Yeah, and the WP-Tonic and my other show, the Membership Machine Show, have a combined Facebook group. We love you to join us on there and be part of the tribe. It's a mixture of WordPress developer and professionals with people trying to build a really successful membership website. It's a great community. Please join us on there. So go over to Facebook and join us on the WP-Tonic and the Membership Machine Show Facebook group. We love you to be part of the tribe. We're going to end the show now. I've enjoyed the discussion. We'll see you next week. We've got some fabulous guests, and in the coming months, it should be fab. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.